everybody, it's Norma, and I can't believe this is July. It's, July 20th, 21st. I haven't even checked the exact date. And it's like raining, and it's like a high of 64 here in Michigan. It's just crazy. It feels like fall. It definitely feels like fall. I'm like so in the mood for fall and fall candles right now. But I'm bound and determined to stick the course, finish up some summer ones. Um, but today, I have a little project I decided to do. And I thought, wow, this would be a really good video. It's actually a video that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I just have never gotten around to doing it. And that is how I clean out my votive holders. Now, I do burn a lot of votives. I think right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 votives. So a dozen votives going on at any one time. And it can be a pain and a chore to clean them out and put new votive candles in it. And I've tried various methods, including like just soaking them in hot water overnight or a couple days or a week whenever I get around to it. And just by, listening to people's comments and advice on my Facebook group over the years, I kind of put a lot of the ideas together, and this is just what works for me. Now, you are going to need some tools and products to help you with this. And number one is I use a very dull blade. I mean, you couldn't cut anything with this other than wax. So just a really old knife. It's my candle knife. I do use a rust stain remover, some Lysol wipes, Goo Gone. This is the secret. And then, of course, some Dawn dishwashing detergents. Now, I do use votive inserts for my votive holders. Right now, these are some of the holders I'm using. I'm using some of the Fractals by Yankee. This was actually a Voluspa candle that I cleaned out and repurposed the jar because I liked it. And then I believe this is actually a tea light holder from Yankee, but you can see it's really large compared to the Fractal. And this is another large tea light holder that I picked up at Meijer's. Now, for the larger tea light holders, obviously you can use tea lights. You can even use like some of the baby jars from Yankee Candle. They'll fit in here. But if I don't have those, or daylights from Kringle, they fit in there beautifully. But if I don't have any of those around, then I tend to use votives. Now, for a smaller size like this, whether it's a Fractal or just another traditional votive holder, I don't like putting the votives directly inside because it can make a mess, and when you're cleaning out your holder, you run the risk of either messing up the paint job if it's a colored paint that they've used on the glass. And the more you handle your votive holders, obviously, the more at risk you are of breaking it or something happening to it. So I do like to use the inserts, and they come in different sizes. I do prefer the smaller size. I don't know if you can tell the difference. This is wider, this is smaller, because some of these wider ones don't fit in. Well, that one does, but some of them don't, because sometimes the actual holders aren't necessarily uniform all the way around. And so I have had instances where, now, isn't it funny, none of them, they're all fitting today, but sometimes they'll stick out. So I do like to use the more narrow ones if I can find them, and usually you can pick them up at like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, just pretty much anywhere you can find just the plain, simple votive holders. So that's what I like to use. And I'm going to start off with my Clorox wipe. And what I like to use these for is to just wipe off the soot from the glass. And sometimes that's all I do. You know, I don't do this whole process that you're about to see every single time I clean out my holders. Sometimes I just take the wax out. Sometimes I do one or the other. It depends on how much time I have and what's going on with the holder. So I do like these wipes for just wiping off the soot. Comes off pretty easy from the glass. And there you go. That's done. Now, the first step in cleaning your holders actually takes place before you burn your votives. And that is before you put your votive into the holder, you want to have a little bit of water at the bottom. You know, not a lot, because what happens, let's see if I have one. I've been pretty good lately, so I don't have a really good example. But if you put too much water on the bottom, what's going to happen is your metal cap, your metal wick holder is going to rust out, which is why I have rust stain remover. So if you have too much water in your holder, you're going to end up getting a lot of rust stains on the glass. But you do want a little bit of water in there, because that makes it a lot easier to take out the votives when it's time to clean them. And basically what I do is I get my knife and I just pull that sucker out. Now, because these have been tunneling a little bit, I should just be able to grab it. Yep, I can just pull it right on out. And the ones that I can't pull out, see how easy that is? If you have a little bit of water, they come right out like that. So the ones that I'm having a little bit harder time with, I probably didn't have quite enough water in there. So I don't even really, well, I'll probably need to use my knife for these. Nope, they're coming right out. Popping right out. Okay. And as you can see, I do lay some paper towel down to catch the wax and help, you know, reduce any mess I might have. Okay, so now there's always one that's going to be a little bit more stubborn. Okay, now see, we got some residue there. We're going to have to work and see if we can clean that up. So I got all my little wax on the paper towel. So I'm just going to scoop this up, throw this away, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to line up my holders. And there are some rust stains on the bottom. So I think I'm going to go ahead with my rust stain removal treatment today. And all I do is I just dab a little bit in each one, like that. And then, because as you can see, I do have some residue, I am going to spray them with Gooby Gone along the sides. Okay. And like I said, I don't do this every single time, because sometimes I just don't have time and I just pop the wax out and stick the votives in. But it is a lot easier if you do try to keep up with the maintenance, and because I mean, otherwise they can be pretty nasty looking if you don't keep up with it. And they look so much prettier in the holders if you don't have all all the residue gunk build up. Okay, now I am going to take another Clorox wet, well, I still got this one out, because you see some of these have soot. So I'm just gonna take the white, and it's actually not soot, it's actually scorch marks from my lighter. So I'm just gonna go around the tops wherever I see those scorch marks. Not too many, just those two, I think. Oh, here's one. Okay, a couple more. Okay, so I think I got the soot out from all of them. And so usually I like to let that goo be gone, sit for a little while, and then I can start testing it either with my wipe, see if it'll come right out. No, sometimes they need a little bit of help. So I'm gonna push that in and see what else. Some of these are, oh, if my nail tech just saw me use my nail like that, she'd holler at me. So yeah, some of them just need a little bit of help. Just start scraping it a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill all of these up with a little bit of Dawn and very hot water. And that should loosen up whatever wax residue is left on the sides. Just da 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 da. Okay, so let me fill these up with some hot water and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have them filled up with hot water, and what the hot water does is it helps, you know, release any of that wax you might have built up. So then I just take my really dull knife and I go around and I scrape, you know, any of the holders where I see the wax on the side. This one's just particularly bad. Most of them are not too bad at all. Okay, so then I just go through and, you know, just see if I see any of that build up. And then I just let them sit and soak for a little bit so the water cools. And while that's going on, I go and get my votives ready. So when the holders are nice and clean, the votives are ready to pop in. Okay, so I got my votives picked out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these to the sink and dump them out, rinse them, and bring them back and see if they need any additional cleanup. Now what I do when I take them to the sink is I do take some thick paper towel. I mean, I use Bounty, you know, the thick stuff that's almost like fabric, and I lay it over the drain hole in the sink so the water will go through the paper towel, but it will catch any little wax bits that may be floating around loose like this, because you don't want the wax to be going down your drain. So the paper towel catches all that. Okay, so there you have it. I rinse them out. Now what I do when I rinse them out, like I said, I do put like a paper towel over the drain hole, pour the water out, it catches the wax, and then I take a Clorox wipe and some hot water and rinse them out. And the Clorox wipe and the hot water will help get away that Gooby Gone. The Gooby Gone will be like really slippery, and so of course you don't really want that on there. And so I just take the Clorox wipe, rinse it with the hot water, and catch any little leftover wax pieces that may be clinging. And these came out pretty good. And then what I do is, found one here, is I just look at them again. And, oh, did I get it? Yeah, got it, almost. And I just go give it a little run through again, see did I miss any like big soot marks, any wax. Now obviously if you wanted to store these, you would dry them and put them away. But I'm not going to dry them because I'm going to use them. So I rinsed them and I left a little bit of water in. I didn't like dump out completely. It's like, you know, I dump it and then whatever water's in there I leave. If you had completely dry ones, you would need to put a little dropper. What I do is like put like a little eyedropper or like a little tiny like an iced teaspoon, and just like, you just want a little bit of a drop. You don't want a lot, because like I said, if you have too much water in there, then that's probably about right. Then the candles will melt. So I'm just kind of making sure none of them have, oh, see, this one has way too much water. did a little bit of a dump. Now it probably doesn't have enough because I dumped too much. So, there we go, share. So now I'm ready to plop my votives in. I have 6 votives in, what do I have? Yankee Candle, Honey Blossom, and these will be going in my bedroom. And then I have 2 votives in Margarita Time and 4 votives in Paradise Spice. These will be going in my living and dining room. And then I'm ready to plop them in the holders. Can't remember which is going where. And obviously I'm not going to have them all. This is just an example. And then we light them up. And with the votives, even though they have super long wicks, you don't need to trim them before you light them because they will magically go down. And there you guys have it. That is how I clean up my votive holders when I'm ready to do a big clean. And now I'm ready to enjoy them. I have to say this process is a lot easier if you do keep up with the cleaning, because if you keep putting it off and putting it off, you do get that wax buildup. And the more wax buildup there is, the harder it is to get off. And sometimes you might have to repeat this process 2 or 3 times before you can get everything off. So I do like to do this at least once a month, do a deep clean. And then every week I change out my votives, and I try to catch the most stubborn ones, the worst ones. But yeah, it's a lot easier if you just keep up with it, people. And of course, don't forget to put that little drop of water at the bottom before you actually put your votive in, because it makes popping out the wax so much easier. So there you guys have it. That's how I do it. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways to do it. So if you have a different method, please share, comment down below. And if you guys like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe below. And have a blessed day.